Hello, my name is Christopher, and today I'm going to continue the series on creating a smart home from scratch. So, over the years, me and my dad have perfected the smart home and tried to make it as stable as possible, and with 900 devices or so, and from Z-Wave to Zigbee to we're starting to get into Thread a little bit. Haven't got into it too much. Started going to HomeKit and really trying to make our home smarter and smarter day by day. But he started with Vera in the very beginning at the infancy days of smart home, and he actually made it work really good. But back then, I wasn't into technology or anything like that, and they all used to always say that Google's your friend and go on Google and learn things. And I've learned things off YouTube, Google, and everything. So I wanted to try to give back to the community and show people how to actually install things and make things and make your smart homes safe, secure, and smart. But so one of the things that I think is the most integral part in a smart home is things that are in the background that are invisible that your family and friends actually do not see, but is protecting them 24/7 and or doing things for them 24/7 that they don't see. And one of those things in our smart home is Adguard Home. It's a DNS level blocking system. So it actually blocks things at the DNS level. So anything that comes through email, anything that they go to on their device, like browsers or go to the sites or go to ad sites, it blocks ads too if you put it in your filter list. But you can decide to either block malware or block ads, whatever. But some sites will complain that you're blocking their ad. But it makes it to where they are less likely to get malware or viruses, and that's the most integral part about the system. But it's over the years I've perfected the list of trying to perfect it, and the first time I installed it, I blocked everything, and that was not good. Nobody enjoyed the internet. So, but uh, but I learned how to create predefined lists and then create custom lists, and that brought it to where everything just works pretty much perfect. Some things are blocked, and you have to decide if you want that blocked or you don't want that blocked. And some things want certain sites or certain analytics to actually log into the apps. And that's kind of weird, but it's what the app makers sometimes want to do. But without further ado, I'm going to show you how to install the software on Proxmox, get it running, get the predefined list in there, then I'll show you how to create custom rules. Then I will go to show you how to inspect the query logs, and this is how you actually debug it and figure out what's blocked and what's not blocked. So, but that will go you step by step, and I'll try to go as slow as possible on because I know when I was learning on off YouTube, I needed people to go a little bit slower. So I'm gonna try to slow down a little bit. But without further ado, let me get started and let's install this stuff. Thank you. So we're going to get started with going to Proxmox, the admin panel. You're going to, like usual, go into the node, then go to shell. And I'm going to install Adguard Home on Proxmox, but you can install it in Portainer. But I prefer to install it on Proxmox because Adguard Home, since it's running your DNS level stuff, you're going to need it to be stable and with more dedicated RAM and more dedicated disk space and CPU. So I'm going to install it on Proxmox, and let's go to Proxmox VE helper scripts like usual. Then I'm going to go down here and copy this. Now, don't trust me on this. You can go and actually look at the script that we will be running and you can look over it and see what it's doing exactly. It's going to adguard.com, downloading that with wget, then it's stopping it, then it's stopping the Adguard Home, make sure it's not running, it's going to update it, going to install it, it's going to copy files, updated, now starting the Adguard Home back up, then started cleaning up the files, removing the .tar.gz, then it's going to make sure the Adguard Home is over there, and looks like it's cleaning up, updated successfully. Then it will show your IP, which is going to be on port 3000. And then that's about it. So let's get started on installing. So we're going to go like over here and type in Adguard to find it. And this site will be in the description on YouTube. So you're going to copy it. Going to go over to Proxmox admin panel still. And then you're going to go to your node. You're going to go to your shell like usual. Do not do this in a VM. Go to your node shell, and then you're going to see a terminal like this. So you're going to paste it in. You're going to press return or enter, depending on what operating system you're on. Then you're going to say proceed with a yes. Then you're going to use the default settings. Depending on how big your Adguard Home is and how many DNS queries go through it, you might have to up the resources. I have had to do that since we have about, I have about 2 million queries go through a day on one Adguard Home. I have two. The other one gets the exact same, so it's kind of a lot of queries going through it. So I did have to up the RAM a bit, I think, on the main one, and then on the backup. But but that querying depends on what your devices are doing. So you might not get the exact same query count a day. It'll fluctuate, but I normally stay between 700,000 and 1 million, but sometimes I do get up to more queries depending on what's happening the day. But I have gotten up to about almost 2 million in one day. I don't know exactly what was going on that day, but okay, let's go down to here. Let's go to IP, and then we're going to copy this, the allocated IP. A little bit about this is it set it up the storage, set up the container storage, it updated the template list, it created the XC on 112 over here, and it is up and running now. It started the container, it set up the container OS, the operating system, then it allocated IPs, IPv4 and IPv6. It connected the internet, DNS resolved to GitHub, which is the main repository for open source projects. It updated the container operating system. It installed the dependencies. It then installed Adguard Home. It customized the container, cleaned it, completed successfully, and now it said it's reachable at this IP. So we're going to go into this right here. I do have no script on, so I'm going to go over here and turn it off. Okay, Adguard Home is a network-wide ad and tracker blocking DNS server. Its purpose is to let you control your entire network and all your devices and does not require using a client-side program. So I'm going to say get started. We're going to be listening on all interfaces on port 80 for the admin. Then we're going to set up the DNS server on port 53. Then you should add a static IP to the MAC address, link it to the MAC address on your router side. But that depends on what router you're using. There's normally instructions somewhere on the internet for that. It's normally called a static IP or an IP reservation. I think I've seen that on other routers before. Okay, next, now we're going to set up our username. Say Big Bear. I'm going to type in 1. I'm not going to keep this Adguard around because I have Adguards actually installed on other systems. So, okay, now it's walking you through the steps on going to your router and setting this all up. This is just one VLAN I have operating, and you may be prompted to enter a password on your router. That might not be your router's IP address. You just have to see if it is. Sometimes routers are on 192.168.1.8 or .30 or .9, or it could be on a different VLAN. Could be on a 0 VLAN. Windows walks through Windows, Mac OS. This is installing it actually on the device, which we will probably do today to show you actually what the query log is doing. Android, iOS, and DNS over HTTPS is to where it's actually going to use HTTPS to send the DNS queries to it. I normally like to use HTTPS. You can use TLS, but what HTTPS is doing, since DNS is domain resolving to an IP address, it's going to use other DNS servers to propagate that and get that HTTPS address. Then it's going to get the IP on that, and then it's going to send the DNS query to it. That's what I figure out it's doing on the internet before. So open dashboard. Then we're going to type in the username and password. Nope, wrong password. Okay. Now you're going to see DNS queries blocked by filters, blocked malware and phishing, blocked adult sites, and general settings. I would not turn these on. These are actually in the cloud services by Adguard. I find that it slows down the DNS queries quite a bit. So I would go with filters before I would even try this. And you can extend the query log rotation. For some reason it's set to 90 days, but I normally set it to 7 days or 30 days. 90 days will take quite a bit of disk space, and I found that there is a glitch to where it stops doing the query logs for some reason. I don't get why it does that. You can set the statistics to the 7 days, 30 days, and 90 days. I find that 90 days is pretty too long for statistics for some reason. It has that glitch in it somehow. I don't know why it does that. But okay, you're gonna go to filters. This is where you see the predefined list. And on the blog post I will link down in the bottom description, that has a list of every predefined list that I've been using or tried to use. I think it's updated. So you can go in here and you can see which list. The OISD block list, I think I use quite a bit of these. You can just go in here. You can go to security list and you can just put those on and off. And then you can see that they get added on. You can do that for different lists. The Adguard DNS filter list I find really good. It seems to block quite a bit of stuff without blocking too much stuff. And now you can go to your custom filters list. This is where you put a unblock in, so you can copy this, paste this in. So if you wanted to undo Google Analytics, because sometimes you can't go to sites without Google Analytics, you can type that in. Then you can go down here and you can Analytics. And you can check if it's blocked and see it's on custom filtering rule, and it is not blocked anymore by any predefined list. So you can actually block services. So you can block them at the DNS level. You can block, I wouldn't block Cloudflare, but you can block these things. Just block them, and then you can save. And then it'll say blocked successfully down there. And then once you actually see the DNS queries go through, you can see it and unblock it. I'll show you that, but I'm going to pause and set up the DNS on my computer and start searching the internet a little bit, and then I'll be right back. Okay. So I paused it and I added the IP to my Mac DNS servers, and I went to just straight up google.com, and you can see it's done 138 DNS queries. It's blocked 22 based on our security, and then you can see all these analytics that it blocked. And down here, you can see our custom rule was allowed. See custom filtering rule. It did allow Google Analytics. You can go over here and block Google Analytics too. But you can go in here. This is where you will go and you will see what your family and friends, if they're blocked or not, or if you want to block something like ad service, it didn't block for some reason, so you can go ahead and block it if you want to. You just watch out for what you block, because it can block things that are used for critical on the sites you go to. So once you put this at your router level DNS, it will block your whole entire network. But like I said, you need to set up a static IP on your router, and you'll just put the IP in, attach it to your MAC address of this specific server or VM, and then you will go over to Proxmox, then you'll go over to the Adguard, then you will go to just reboot up here, and more than likely it will have your static IP on there, and you'll be able to actually go to that IP. Now, don't get scared, because you will have to change your IP up here. And you'll have to put port 3000 in there, of course. And to get to the admin panel again. But I think that that's about it right now. You can see that there is quite a bit of settings to it. You can do DHCP stuff. I wouldn't recommend having another DHCP server on top of another, because that's double natting, and that can create havoc on your network. But you'll just have to decide if you like that or not. I wouldn't recommend it if you have a router set up with DHCP on it already. You can do persistent clients, runtime. You can do it. You can have the encryption setting. Oh wait, I did want to show y'all about, okay, these are the Upstream DNS servers. Right now, it's using Quade 9. I normally use Cloudflare. I'll go over to my blog post real quick, and I'll show you what I use. The Adguard. Okay, now let's go down here. I'll show you how to do the finding DNS filters. and you can go, there's the Proxmox helper script that I showed you in this video. Here's all the actual predefined lists that I use. Then I have custom filters to where I actually disallowed things and allowed things. But you don't need to know that because you're not going to those same sites probably. So now here's the recommended list I recommend. I think these are the fastest from what I've tested. But you just copy and paste those in. That's going to Cloudflare. They have 250 plus data centers around the world, so they're pretty fast. Quake 9's fast too, but I think I have it on parallel request, so that's going to send all your DNS queries to both these at the exact same time, which I found that's pretty fast. Now, when you're using HTTPS DNS over HTTPS on HTTPS, you have Bootstrap DNS servers, what I was talking about last time. These are the Bootstrap DNS servers that will be used to send those domains to these DNS servers to get these domain IP addresses. That's the way I believe it works. And then you just go down here, test the upstream, and you can do rate limiting. You can turn on DNSSEC. All of my sites that I run run DNSSEC. I think it's a good security for the DNS side level. And you can allow clients. I haven't played with this much. You can add optimistic caching. Watch out for caching because caching can mess up things sometimes. You'll have a family member trying to access the site, and for some reason the cache messed up, and you have to clear the cache. You can do that really easy by pushing this button right here. You just say clear. It's done. Load balancing. You can load balance between these servers. That means it will go to each server, load balancing it back and forth, not sending it parallel requests to it. Fastest IP address. I've found that this slows down the DNS queries quite a bit, but it says that in here, query all DNS servers and return fastest IP address among all responses. This slows down DNS queries as Adguard Home has to wait for responses from all DNS servers, but improves the overall connectivity. I choose to go with parallel requests, but you can also go to list of DNS providers if you want to try a different list. They have a whole breakdown of every DNS provider they recommend. You can do Yandex, Clean Browser. I use Cloudflare and Quaid. I stick to those two because I don't really know any of these others really. I've never used them, and I find that they're the fastest. But I think that's about it. The query logs, you just need to make sure that you go in here and inspect it every so often. And eventually these queries will be adding up consistently. Now, depends on how long you keep the logs, but you might need to go in Proxmox and allow more disk space. You can do that pretty easy by going over here. You can add memory to it. You can add more memory to it. You can go in here and add you'll have to go in here and resize it. You can only resize up. You can't resize down. So make sure you just do that, and you can add more CPU cores to it. I don't remember what I have to it on it, but I have a pretty big DNS server. So in the next video, I'll show you how to load balance between two Adguard servers and actually sync them together to where they have the same settings. So today I've went over, I think, thoroughly in setting up Adguard Home, showing you the settings, showing you how to unblock stuff and block stuff in the query logs. I think this is a really good system to protect your family and friends from the internet and different things like malware, viruses, stuff like that. But you will have to put in time and effort into creating the filter list and getting them perfected. But I think that's about it. And but if I mess up something, please comment down below. I'm always looking at learning more and more stuff, and I don't claim to know everything. So if you think I've messed up something, or if you think that I could do something better, please comment down below. I'm always looking at learning new things. Thank you.